very hyped for another round of our CLUB100 BUKC iRACIng Championship. Make no mistake about that.
Absolutely. So we are round the home of British motorsports here this evening, Silverstone, in resplendent summer glory, and the GT3s are back out once again. Qualifying getting underway in a short few moments' time. Howard, how are the scores looking on the doors as we approach this midway point of the season?
Absolutely. Bearing in mind this is overall points that we're showing at the moment. There is a drop score system to come into play, but we're not going to worry about that until the sharper end of the season. Steve Hicks then sits with the most overall points accrued on 475. Sam Sanders next, followed by Jack Eyre. Is then down in 9th place overall, that we find the highest position of our Class 2 drivers in the form of Luke Tomlinson, but he's got the likes of Matt Hale hot on his heels. And I have to say as well, Andrew, that because we are showing overall points, it's always worth bearing in mind that there's one or two things that are a bit skew-if. Kieran Harrison has been a major force in this championship. It is only by dint of the fact that he was not with us for the first round that he is not atop the championship standings. There he is sat in 11th place. Likewise, Murray Adams featuring very prominently in Class 2. If you were to drop a score at the moment, he's had very good. He's only had one finish that wasn't on the podium within his class. So, plenty of strong seasons, campaigns being put together throughout the field here, and it's just going to keep on getting better and better.
It is indeed. Well, we definitely hope so. Apologies, we had a little bit of a stumble there on reconnection. The Wi-Fi's never done that before, but we have now switched over to a full connection, so hopefully we won't have any troubles. Apologies for that. 2 races, the order of events here tonight, and there'll be 2 40-minute races around Silverstone for you to enjoy, which put on a decent Grand Prix at the weekend, with some home success as well for the Brits, who's going to come out on top of the mostly British field that we have here tonight, but particularly in the practice sessions, Howard. Actually, no. Before we get on to that, this is a big one from a perspective of the GT3s, isn't it? Because it's the first time that we've had a round since the season change and the inevitable balance of performance change that an iRacing season turnaround comes with. So we're going to see a lot of drivers tonight using their one free shot of changing their GT3 car of choice this evening.
We are indeed, mate. I have to say, we haven't got the information in my virtual comms box, in our virtual comms box today, I think, to know who exactly has played the Joker, but obviously the big development, anyone who's been who's familiar with the goings-on in the iRacing service will be aware that we've had this season rotation. We've gone into 2023 season 3, if I've got the seasons right. Yep. And that has seen the release of the car that we see Murray Adams piloting right now, which is the updated Porsche 911. I say the 911, it's also codenamed the 992, just to keep everyone nice. There's a lot of Porsche 911s and 992s across the iRacing service, but this is the new GT3 car. It's been proving very popular as we see Murray Adams trying to extract as much pace as he can from it. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm just looking down the order. I'm seeing 6 drivers who have opted for the Porsche. Obviously, those who may have been running that Porsche before may have chosen to go with that. But there's a few others. I think I'm seeing a few more Audis out as well. I think I'm seeing a few more Audis in tonight's entry as well. So I think maybe there's been a bit of a shift away from certainly the BMW. Not that it's not still very healthily represented, but as Murray Adams comes round to complete his outlap, just looking to see who we got. We got sometimes coming in. That wasn't his outlap. That was his first flying lap. Sorry, that was my timing having a bit of a bug there. he goes in as our, as I say, a sort of nominal Class 2 leader coming into tonight if you did drop a score. And Kieran Harrison has already gone on to provisional pole there with a strong opening lap. The only driver below the 2-minute mark, Andrew, a 1:59.23. But there's plenty of people out there trying to beat this time. Here we are with Cameron Watson, working his way through, sporting the Alpha Tauri homage livery, a team that's generated a fair old bit of news even since the weekend within Formula One news circles.
Have indeed. Nick De Vries out, Daniel Ricciardo back in was the news coming from testing yesterday at Silverstone. Some tyre testing going on involving some of the teams, and the man I was with at the weekend was there yesterday on invitation from Haas Formula One. So it's getting a little bit of gossip there from Anthony Jordan on the front line. But round comes Watson into the top 10, goes P9 with a 2-minute 1.22. Here we are now with Matt Salmon, who's had a really good start to life in this championship. Came in a few rounds ago as a Class 3, dominated Class 3 and was promoted straight up to Class 2 into one of the classes eligible for the prizes in this competition. The top performing C1 and C2 drivers at the end of 2023 both receive a free drive in the Club 100 Endurance Championship in real life for a race of their choosing in the championship next year. Back as well as Kirith Kalirai. Here he is in the Ferrari.
Now, I think, Andrew, he's already had one go at this. One of the things that's a factor here at Silverstone, particularly, or not least, I should say, perhaps, in iRacing, is track limits. Yes. And I just wonder if he's fallen foul of those in his first time round, because by my timing, this is his second timed lap.
Oh, okay. Kirith continuing round the circuit through this crucial part of the course, through Beckett's and Maggots, and wants to get a good run down the hanger straight towards Stowe Corner. This is where we saw Lewis Hamilton have a bit of a spin in qualifying on Saturday, but dry conditions, of course, here in iRacing. No slippery conditions for any of our drivers to deal with this evening. It's looking like a clean, tidy lap from Kirith at the moment into the final chicane through Club Corner. Where is it going to stick? A driver who's competitive in these GT3s, could be a dark horse for Class 2 tonight. It's going to put Kirith into P19 there.
I have to say, I was amazed you didn't append the word "yet" onto that sentence about slippery conditions in iRacing, mate. It feels like...
Well, we have been here a while.
I feel like I think rain in iRacing might be becoming the most anticipated thing since Half-Life 3 on the internet. But
yes.
Yeah. Anyway, Kieran Harrison it is who's on provisional pole, and I don't think, well, even if there is someone out there who could beat it, and I think everyone's clocked in their laps, with the possible exception of Adrian Goodwin, but they are about to time out anyway, because that is the end of the qualifying session. And so we now look ahead, mate, to gridding up the first of two races. Oh, because we haven't had a chance to go through the format. The two 20-minute races that we are going to be, 20-lap races that we're going to be treated to this evening. And here is your grid.
Indeed. So running through. Oh, SDK is a little bit warm this evening. Kieran Harrison has pole position. Charlie Summers alongside on the front row. Adam State and Murray Adams. What a qualifying there from Murray Adams, the C2 driver on the second row of the grid overall. Sam Sanders and Tom Edwards go from row 3. Will Doyle and Mike Hart on row number 4. Tom Dix and Jack Eyre on row 5. Cameron Watson and Tim Penny form up row number 6. If we run further down the order, Dan Gamlin looking for a good race tonight. Starts from row 7 alongside Matt Salmon. That's second and third in C2. Matt Hale and Adrian Goodwin start on row number 8. James Fremont and Christopher Powell starts on row number 9. Kirith Kalirai and Sam Dimolo form up the 10th row of the grid. They're on 19th and 20th on the grid. Alan Curtis and Rick Wong are next up. 21st and 22nd. Simon Delamere, 23rd. Steve Hicks did not set a lap time, I believe. Starts from row 12. David Whitehouse and Richard Sanders on row 13. Hello to Dave in the chat, who says, who needs to qualify when you can have a nice glass of wine to enjoy instead? No drinking and driving, please. Keep it in moderation. Hello to JJ as well. Give us a good show, guys. Very much hope for that as well. And Tom Cope, our wonderful cinematographer. His Flickr is in the details, or at least should be in the details down below in the description. Do check those out. But we're getting ready for the first race of the night here at Silverstone. 40 minutes for the drivers to enjoy around the full Grand Prix loop. Kieran Harrison on pole position there in the white and black BMW. Charlie Summers alongside. A great opportunity this, Howard, for Charlie Summers, who's had some bad luck so far this season, but a good qualifying, good chance for some strong points.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you say, this is going to be a really good opportunity for him to get some points on there. As you say, a bit of a mixed season. He hasn't had any podiums yet, and we know he's a strong driver, so it's going to be interesting to see how he goes here. Bearing in mind as well, the top 20 will be reversed for the second race. That's something to bear in mind as we watch this one as well.
So rolling starts for the GT3s here at Silverstone, round 6 of the 2023 CLUB100 BUKC iRacing Championship. And already drama as Sam Sanders spinning around. Doesn't even make it to turn 1. It was a very early start from Kieran Harrison. He put the pedal down straight away there, and I think that's caught a couple of drivers out. Not much opportunity to warm up tyres, of course, here at Silverstone, with them starting on the hanger straight. But it's Harrison leading, Summers in second, Adam State in the red Ferrari up to third place, Murray Adams P4 as they sweep onto the Wellington straight. Dramatic stuff. One of the championship contenders from last year's season, but has not had the performances that he would have wanted so far in 2023. Sam Sanders all the way down in 24th place. Yeah,
that's gutting for him, Andrew. We've all been there, right? Cold tyres at the start, and as you say, mate, with them starting on the hanger straight, there really wasn't a lot of opportunity. As Tom Dix is off. Tom Dix is off on the exit of that's Luffield, isn't it? But he's gone off there. Well, lots of thrills and spills here on the first lap of this race, but Tom Dix, who's had some good runs so far this season, will fall all the way down, well, simply down to 24th place. Sam Sanders has already made his way past Simon Delamere in the Martini Mercedes, but it's Harrison leading out front, Summers second, but Adam State looks very racy for me here, Howard, looking to perhaps get a move done on the hanger straight. Yeah, I agree, mate. He wants to get off to a good start here. He's in the wheel tracks of Charlie Summers. Yeah, I just reflecting on that Sam Sanders incident, as I think David Whitehouse, yes, he has had it off there as well. Simon Delamere has dropped down a few positions as well on this first lap. But yeah, through this this bit here, Andrew, this is just coming around to finish the first lap. Through Club Corner, as you go onto the Hamilton Straight, it is a high commitment corner. It's quite deceptive in a way. How committed you have to be, and absolutely, if you've got cold tyres, it is so easy for the rear to get away from you. And yes, I agree with your assessment. I think Harrison caught them somewhat by surprise there. Looking further down the order, this is Adrian Goodwin in the yellow and blue Ferrari car number 46. Has got Matt Salmon ahead and Christopher Powell for company just behind. Christopher Powell, of course, last year's Class 2 winner for intermediate drivers who aren't full-time on iRacing, but have shown some promise. Matt Hale there in the... Yes, I'm about to say these words. I think they've done it deliberately to annoy me, ladies and gentlemen. The Ferrari liveried Porsche, because Murray Adams is in a BMW liveried Porsche. What are you doing, gentlemen? It's blasphemy putting those kind of colours on the car from Germany. But there is Matt Hale, currently running in 12th place here, Howard. Third of the C2s. Decent start for the oval specialist. Yes, it is indeed, although I I'm with you. This is a commentator's nightmare. It's like one of those brain teasers where the word blue comes up in green text or something. Yes, not a bad start at all. As you say, for a man who's had a lot of success. Whenever we try our hand at an oval racing discipline in this championship, Hale is often at the forefront. He's doing well so far. He's got away. He and Dan Gamlin ahead of him, Andrew, have a little way to go before they can get onto terms with Murray Adams, the highest running Class 2 in this race thus far. Really doing well so far, up in 4th place.
Yeah, but it's a long race, and tyre wear will be a factor in this race as well. We saw earlier in the season at Fuji, previously when we ran this 40-minute 2-race edition format, that the higher rate of tyre wear, which all GT3s have had since season 1 of this year's iRacing setup, is what we got here. This is Steve Hicks. No practice, has only just got back from a testing trip in Germany, and that shows why, because he's into the wall. Contact there with Kirith Kalirai. I think that was a bit of a racing incident, but Steve Hicks, of the championship leader, having some bother here in the orange Rexy Porsche. My oh my, that is not how he would want to have to got through. Well, initially got past Kirith Kalirai, didn't get the move done, though he did run quite deep. I think he was actually going round already before he had contact with Kirith Kalirai.
He was definitely on the limit.
Yeah, he was right on the limit of where the Porsche tyres could hold him on the circuit. Don't think he's actually too badly damaged. Might have a bit of diffuser damage, but he's holding a decent pace there just ahead of Simon Delamere.
Yeah, that light bar at the back definitely isn't quite straight, but I think he'll get away with that one, as Rexy almost wrecked then, it has to be said. But yeah, he was right on the limit. You always are through that section of the track, and yeah, I agree with you. I'm not sure if he was already in the process of losing it when the contact occurred, but it looks like Kirith's been able to carry on undeterred. In fact, I'm not seeing any particular damage on that Ferrari.
Well, there is the man who not that long ago was driving a Ferrari GT3 in real life and apparently crashing it as well. I've not watched the video yet, so I couldn't possibly comment. Looking back now from Kirith's rear axle, there is the looming Audi R8 of Sam Sanders.
The recovering Sam Sanders, of course. He's out of position based on the pace he had in qualifying by dint of the cold tyres. I have to say, Andrew, I mean, my personal GT3 of choice when I'm iRacing is the Audi, and it does have, yeah, warming up the tyres, I'd say, it's not the easiest car to get them switched on. No. So, but yeah, we would expect now to see, on balance, a fighting Sam Sanders. Although at the moment he would line up 3rd on the grid for race 2.
Yep.
He's going to try down the inside here into the loop, and Kirith Kalirai is going to be very cooperative with that endeavour, and through goes Sam Sanders up into 17th place.
Kirith's going to have a fight back here as they go down the Wellington Straight.
Yeah, not that cooperative. Oh, and there's the twitch. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They're going to be side-by-side through Luffield. Had some really good side-by-side and round the outside passes in the Grand Prix on Sunday. But that is job done for Sam Sanders. But yeah, I called it too early to say that Kirith was going to cooperate there, definitely. But he's now got to worry, if anything, a little bit more about Alan Curtis behind him.
All of these cars, all of these drivers running sprint setups, no opportunity for drivers to tweak the setups. You've got what you've got. It's very much in the Club 100 fashion in real life. And as I say, I think some of the drivers are struggling with tyre temperature at the moment. On board with Tim Penny in the AMG Mercedes, sounding resplendent as always round Silverstone. That's Cameron Watson just ahead in the BMW. And for now, Tim Penny just happy to sit there, and there will be some pit stop activity in this race. Holding position inside the top 10 for the Nomad Racing crew. Overstart finish they go, end of... is what's happening here? Well, that's Matt Salmon and Matt Hill and Adrian Goodwin. So Adrian Goodwin trying to find a way past Matt Salmon again as they go through the first couple of corners. And a bit of a trolley train forming up behind Mr. Hale now.
Yes. Yes, I have to say, it was, yeah. If I can reference it, I ended up feeling a little bit old. A trolley train got referenced the other day. I think it was on one of the English commentaries during the Austrian Grand Prix. And they then proceeded to explain to their younger viewers what that meant.
It was on the Channel 4 highlights, because I saw that as well. And yeah, that hurt me right to the soul, hearing that.
Yes.
There we go.
But I then thought about it, I was like, yeah, to be fair. Matt Salmon's looking racy here, Andrew, on the tail of the... I'm trying to think of how we portmanteau the words Ferrari and Porsche. It's a difficult one to do. The Porsche-Rari?
The Ferrari.
The Ferrari. Oh, I like that. That sounds like a nutty sweet, but anyway.
See, I've got a story about that from the airport on Monday, but not for now. There's a race going on.
There is that.
5 through Beckett's and Maggots, and then Chapel. Sorry, Maggots and Beckett's, then Chapel, of course. Looking back from Mike Hart's. Had a quiet season so far. Looking to get a best result of the year so far as we go into the summer break. He's another one of the drivers in the Porsche. Which, word on the street, at least in our community, seems like it's going to be the car of choice for the Spa 24-hour special event in about a week and a half's time. He's got Jack Air to deal with at the moment, says Mike Hart. Keep your comments coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you with us here this evening. It's once again back to the battle involving Salmon and Powell, and Salmon has got through.
Yes, there's been a bit of development there, though, hasn't there, Andrew? Because a lap ago, Matt Salmon was putting pressure on Matt Hale, and he's dropped back behind Adrian Goodwin. So, if anything, I think Salmon's dropped back here, and it's given some opportunity for Sam Sanders. Because I think it's Bolt, Chris Powell there, and Sam Sanders now up into 15th place in an Audi on Audi pass there. But yeah, something happened to Matt Salmon there, perhaps an attempt on Matt Hale that didn't quite pay off. We cut back to Tom Edwards, who leads this pack. He's being hotly pursued here by William Doyle. As I say, Andrew, I think there are a few more Audis in the entry list tonight. I feel like some people have gone with that. Not just necessarily, you know, through trying them out in different. It's not necessarily that people suddenly feel they've improved with that car. For some people, of course, new iRacing season can mean that an opportunity to treat yourself to some content. So maybe some drivers have picked up. As there's a little look there from Doyle. Maybe some drivers have picked up a GT3 option that they didn't have before, Andrew, and felt they wanted to bed themselves in with that, or felt more comfortable with that. They really can have quite different characteristics. You know, we're looking at when you're looking at the front-engined BMW and Mercedes, they have a very, very different feel to the mid and rear-engined counterparts, for example. Good little battle this, though. Tom Edwards leading the way in this pack in 5th place.
It's a time of the race, Howard, where maybe you think about an early pit stop if you're one of these stuck in a bit of a train.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because in some ways, the cars are punching a high, you know, always worth bearing in mind it's a high-speed circuit. So in some ways, nice to have someone punching a hole in the air for you on the straights. But if you all start vying for position, you are definitely losing time. And yeah, it is something I think for the drivers to bear in mind.
Here's your race leader, Kieran Harrison, looking serene at the front of the order once again. And his lead is 5.4 seconds over Charlie Summers right now, but doesn't want to be using those tyres too much. And it's another interesting one, not too dissimilar actually, the discussions me and Anthony Jordan were having at the weekend of there's no limited sets in this series, but there may be a question of only changing 2 tyres in this race. Do you go both left? Do you go both right? Do you go, kind of diagonally across? What do you do? Or do you just change all 4 and take the time penalty?
It's an yeah, because you certainly wouldn't go, to my mind, you certainly wouldn't go just right. That wouldn't make sense for me around this circuit at all. With your high commitment right-handers, you'd probably want your fresh rubber on the left if you were going to do that anywhere. But the thing is, Andrew, that you've got at Silverstone, because you've got things like Maggots and Beckett's, right, famously committed in both changes of direction. I always think that's a really tough one to do with uneven tyres. So I don't know, maybe there is some configuration of diagonal. So yeah, interesting issue for them to deal with there on tyre choice.
Sam Sanders here now to P14, and he's got Adrian Goodwin and Matt Hale just ahead. And I think if you're Sam Sanders, you just plug away with this. He is making progress back through the order, and at least trying to get some better track position and then think about the pit stop. He's not losing too much time, of course, in all of this. Hope you enjoyed the coverage, live coverage of the 2023 CLUB100 BUKC iRacing Championship. Oh, a bit of a squirm there for Adrian Goodwin, and that's going to be like taking candy from a baby for Sam Sanders, or is it? Because he's now having a bit of a trouble with getting the straight line speed over the Ferrari, but he's got the inside line for Copse Corner, has got his nose ahead. Easy as you like for Sam Sanders, but he will have lost a bit of time with that. Has now dropped off the back of Matt Hale. Will try and close in, going through Maggots, Beckett's and then Chappell. But now, I would say that the characteristics of the Audi R8 tyre temperatures now to where they should be for optimal performance. It's looking a lot steadier now, and look at that, he's closing in on Matt Hale, maybe a little bit too far back to have a go into Stowe. See him taking that slightly wider line and later apex, and that's going to give him some dividends right on the rear bumper of Matt Hale now. Duke's out to the right hand side, he's going to try and go round the outside as they approach Vale and Club. That is very nicely done indeed by Sam Sanders, through and into 12th place. Now the job in hand is to get up the road to Dan Gamblin. It's currently, I think, an 8.7 second gap up the road to the second place driver in C2 in this race. That shows you how much some of the drivers are being bottled up behind Matt Hale, but Sam Sanders with a bit more pace at this stage of the race as we're approaching the halfway point. Good at the moment for getting back into the top 10 at this rate of progress, and now can really stretch his legs. Now we start to see the real pace of the Audi R8. There is another one of the Audi R8s further up the order. It's Murray Adams. Sorry, it's not Murray Adams. It's another one of the Scottish drivers. It's William Doyle, and William, who joined the series this year as a BPEC driver. The series is open to British Pro Kart Endurance Championship drivers. So if you're one of those drivers indeed and watching at home and you're on iRacing, or even if you're not on iRacing, get on board, get on the service, and you are still eligible for this series. Here's Cameron Watson, P8 at the front of this 3-car train with Tim Penny and Jack Eyre behind him. Now on board with Jack Eyre in the BMW. To Stowe Corner they go, and this group are about 4 seconds behind the next lot ahead. Mike Hart, Tom Edwards and William Doyle. Still no one yet to pit in this race, interestingly enough. The track temperatures the air temperature is not as bad as we saw at Fuji, where we saw a lot of early pitters, some of them trying to do the undercut. You can see Jack Hare squirming there out of Club Corner onto the main straight, the Hamilton straight, of course. Evening to Craig Brown watching in the chat. And JJ as well mentioning, I think that was for the Sam Sanders move. Yeah, it was a great move indeed. So on the 10th lap of this race, the race that will run either to 20 laps or 40 minutes, more likely to be the 40 minutes. Enjoying the coverage, do make sure you click that like button. If you're new around here as well, want to give that subscribe button a press also. Apologies that we've not had too much content on the channel over the last week and a half or so. It's been a bit busy. But plenty of footage, plenty of shorts to come up that will be edited over the next few days from tonight. Last weekend at Sarno for the FIA Karting European Championships. And the last Super 1 round at Fullbeck as well. This weekend we've also got more DDMM commentary just up the road from DDMM HQ. So we go from one weekend where we've never commentated so far away from home to the circuit where we commentate the closest. 15 minutes up the hill, beyond Edge Hill to Shennington for the Shennington Super Prix. We'll have live stream, working on the Alpha live stream on Sunday with some pieces recorded on the Saturday as well, so do make sure that you tune in for that one over on the Alpha Live YouTube channel. 20 minutes gone then, 20 minutes to go, and into the pits comes Jack Hare. So Jack Hare is the first driver to elect to go for some service. Let's see what the Rethink Racing driver does here. Slightly strange pit lane, of course, here at Silverstone, where drivers do overtake their rivals by taking the shorter entry and not going through the Vale chicane and around Club Corner. Now, we won't be able to see any men working, and yes, so tyres are being changed there on the BMW, because you see it levitating into midair. Matt Salmon is also in behind, and Christopher Powell and Kirith Kalirai. Rick Wong is in as well, although I think that might be a retirement. It looked like a quick stop to me for Jack Hare, so probably just 2 tyres. Jack Hare goes back out onto circuit. There is Tom Dix, who we saw having a bit of a moment earlier on. Other drivers in the pits. Christopher Powell jumps Matt Salmon, so that's an interesting one. Kirith Kalirai is away as well. By goes, I think that was Simon, that might have been, no, that wasn't Simon Delamere. That's Steve Hicks looking down the inside of Matt Salmon. I don't think Hicks has stopped yet. It's going to be a bit of a squabble here as they go through this tricky part of the course, especially if you're on a single monitor in iRacing. You cannot see the inner point of the loop, the very apex of the loop, the corner, the tight second gear, maybe first gear, right-hand hairpin after Village. Steve Hicks is going to look down the inside again at the end of the Wellington Straight as to go through Brooklands. Salmon is just about giving enough room, but gets in the marbles. Is still going to be side by side as they go through Lovefield. Great racing here between the Porsche and the Ferrari, but surely Steve Hicks on the racing line is going to have better traction out of Lovefield through Woodcut and gets the move done.
Yeah, great little battle there. Loving that between the two of them, with racing room and respect shown, and goes the way of Hicksy, who will have no damage now on his Porsche, because he'll have used a fast repair in that pit stop. So the yellow Rexy car. We do have a green Rexy car. Is it Rick Wong running it? I didn't quite catch. Yes, it is. There it is. The dinosaur livery that's been so popular since it was first run at the Sebring 12 hours earlier this year, and then it was taken to Le Mans. Speaking of Le Mans, I feel this is the point of the show. He won't be watching tonight because I know they're very, very busy. But good evening, if he's watching on replay, good evening to Tom Buttersworth, our very own Rexy. So famous
that has met the real Rexy, or met real Rexy at Le Mans, and is now at Le Mans again because he's down there for the Teesside Karting Le Mans 24-hour kart race. And best of luck to Tom, to David Sullivan, to Luke Austin, and James Fitchew as well, who I know are all part of the team taking part in that race this week. A number of people from the BUKC and CLUB100 community racing down there this weekend, so best of luck to anyone taking part in that race. We'll be keeping an eye on that one. But into the second half of the race, leaders look like they're coming in on my screen, Howard, because Kieran Harrison and Charlie Summers both having the pit lane indicator against their names should mean that Adam States cycles to the front of the race order, unless he pits as well. And there,
which he has
Kieran
not.
Harrison, just behind the wall.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, indeed, as Charlie Summers pits.
I like. Oh, did overshoot the box there though. Charlie Summers had to reverse a little bit. Away goes Kieran Harrison. I quite like that move from Charlie Summers. Just mark what Kieran Harrison is doing. I think, to be honest, not quite got the pace of Kieran Harrison tonight, but that's it's not a bad thing to just mark what he's doing, follow his strategy lead, and try and come home with that second place. Here is your new race leader then, Cardiff University's Adam State. Had a very good start to the season. Had a difficult time last time out in France in the F4s at Magny-Cours. Admitted himself hadn't had enough practice in the Formula 4s around the French circuit, but is more at home now here at Silverstone in the GT3s, and it's showing the pace is strong at the front of the field now by 5.6 seconds. Coming out of Cops Corner, heading towards Maggots. Now the thinking surely would be that Adam State will come in this next time around. I think the highest, well of course Kieran Harrison is the highest runner of those two pitted at the moment in fifth. Penny and Sanders between himself and Charlie Summers have not pitted. Tom Dix also hasn't pitted. William Doyle has. So in some ways, Adam State is racing against William Doyle here. As Tom Dix, I think, has just lost a position. Now, my screen just went a little bit red there to indicate two off tracks. And I think, yes, that's a spin. That's been a spin for Tom Dix. Thank you to SDK for their timing services. Saw the off-track indicator go bright red there at my end, indicating that Tom Dix had picked up two for the price of one incident. So has had an off there, as indeed Adam State does come into pit lane, as does Murray Adams, as does Tom Edwards. Cameron Watson and Tim Penny are all in now, and Sam Sanders. So this is all drivers who stayed out one more lap. Now, in theory, they will have some racier tyres on their cars at the end of this race. Did I see as well Adam State's Ferrari not going up in the air there? Is he going to try and do the alternative? I think he is. I don't think Adam State has changed tyres there. And he's going to try and get out ahead of Charlie Summers. Now, this can be done if you can hold on for, what will it be, 7 laps?
Yeah.
On those older tyres. But the problem, Howard, is Charlie Summers is not that behind. To toot my own trumpet, because this very rarely happens. We got a race win round Fuji a few weeks ago where we did just this. The difference was, with a similar number of laps to go before the end of the race, there was, you had a 10-second lead. I only won it by half a second. I don't think that's going to be enough of a gap for Adam State if he has not changed tyres to be able to hold off a fast charging Charlie Summers.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one to see there, as David Whitehouse is, there he is, joining the circuit. Not the best camera angle to show, but that means that everybody has now pitted in the field.
Good.
And he comes out immediately alongside Alan Curtis. So there's a battle for him to get on with immediately.
Apologies,
and
folks.
Indeed he will.
Ooh, he's getting down the inside there is David Whitehouse. Sorry, I would have talked across it then. Apologies, folks, for, I know we've got a couple of issues on the timing tower with position numbers being black instead of white, We are trying to rectify
We're working
that.
on it.
We're working on it. Good evening to Michael Preston as well, who says some things are certain in life, and Sam Sanders being out of position is one of them. Oof. That's a statement and a half. But he's not racing tonight, so no more shorts and reels of Michael being involved in overtakes for this one. We'll have to clip somebody else. Sam Sanders is now trying to find a way past Tim Penny here, going down into Stowe Corner. The Nomad Mercedes just ahead. Pushing every fibre out of these tyres at the moment. There's some 11 minutes of the race to go. Race leader is just going through the first sector now. But Sam Sanders has made some good progress here, Howard, because we saw him get by Matt Hale, and then there was about an 8-9 second gap to the next group of cars on the circuit. So he has closed that in the last 6 or 7 minutes, whilst the pit stops have gone on.
Indeed.
Michael has got a very good reason for not being present. He's been at the real Silverstone. I suspect that's been with some of the testing going on there this week. Good to hear from you, mate. Keep working hard. He's been doing some great stuff within the Williams camp in recent months. It's an intriguing fight as well, with Dan Gamblin having a really strong run. One of the strongest runs we've seen from Dan so far this year. We know he's had the speed, but I think at times he's not quite had the consistency to be right up at the sharp end in C2, but this is a much better performance from Dan Gamblin tonight so far. 10 minutes of the race to go. Leader is now 9 seconds, 10 seconds in the lead. But I'm being made to eat my hat at the moment now, because Adam states, if we're correct in saying he hasn't changed tyres, or has changed less tyres than Charlie Summers, because Summers could have gone for 4, States could have gone for 2. He's making it work at the moment. He's still holding there in second place.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so, doing really well. Sorry, I paused there because I thought Tim Penny was going to fire a move down the inside of Dan Gamblin there, but they stay as they are through Club.
Out of the final corner, starts another lap, still as it was. Gamblin ahead of Penny, ahead of Sanders, no real way as they go through the first bend. You've got to be well up alongside if you're going to make a move into Abbey Work. A bit of pressure coming in now from Tim Penny, but he's going to be offline. This could be, oh no, I was about to say, is Sam Sanders going to be able to get a bit of a cutback? And then has his own wobbly moment as he tried to turn in for the loop. And the Audi R8 just said, nope, not having any of that. And he had to catch that oversteer very, very quickly. How's the, sorry to throw another thing at you, Howard, how's the battle for reverse grid pole looking? Are we thinking that
Interesting you say that. It's, I mean, this is going on just ahead of 20th place. Matt Salmon lining up a move on Chris Powell. And you can just see, and he's through into stadium section.
Sam Dimolo always has an interesting livery on. What's he wearing this evening? Ooh. A very vibrant number.
It is. I'm not, if it's referencing something, I'm not au fait with what it is. But it's very colourful.
No Teletubbies tonight. He's running well at the moment in 16th place. There is Kirith Kaliwai. So Kirith's at the moment in, was it about 6 seconds ahead of David Whitehouse. 2 and a bit seconds behind Adrian Goodwin, and you just kind of bring it home right now if you're Kirith, that, don't you?
You do indeed. I mean, yeah. Unless I mean, David Whitehouse has something to push for. If he can get onto the back of Kirith, he could chase down a pole position. But yeah, it's sort of it's quite a quiet one in many ways, because there's a little bit of a gap between him and Adrian Goodwin. There is that gap. So, yeah, in many ways, Gareth, just sort of sit tight and it should come back to your next race, really. It's just one of the nice things about the reverse grid system.
Guaranteed content. Oh, yes. Tim Penny looking down the inside there of Dan Gamblin. Is going to have a squirm on the exit of the loop. Great racing there from Dan Gamblin. Jet gave Penny just enough room to compromise and not allow him through, but not cause contact. Into Brooklands they go. Dan Gamblin looking a little bit slower at this stage of the race on corner apexes, but he's hitting those apexes. Very important to do round here at Silverstone. Sam Sanders still there in P12 as well.
Yeah, Sam Sanders still on somewhat of a recovery drive. I'm trying to think where he started on the grid now, Andrew, but I think he would still hope to make up a few more places if possible in the last few laps.
Definitely right, because it's not really going to benefit too much from any reverse grid shenanigans at the moment, because he's right in the centre point of the top 20. Start P8 right now, and look, Dan Gamblin's going to defend down the inside. He's going to force Tim Penny to go round the outside if he wants to overtake through Stowe Corner. Has got a nose alongside. This is going to be a bit interesting as they come off the corner. Can Tim Penny keep his nose in there? Yes, he can. He's going to have the inside prevail. Sam Sanders is going to take opportunity as well down the inside of Dan Gamblin's BMW. Great defence by Gamblin. Holds on to it for now as they go through Club Corner, and Sanders has got through. Really good work by all three drivers. Clean racing, good racing, but it's Tim Penny who goes up into the top 10.
Yeah, really, really good battle there. I've been brewing away, nicely judged by Tim Penny, and Sam Sanders as well benefiting from it.
Now can Sam Sanders find his way through? Well, I take everything back. Adam State is not having trouble on his tyres at all at the moment. He's doing a brilliant job here. He's made a bit of strategy work to get this second place. Some 4 minutes of this one to go, and where is Harrison at the moment? We can see on our little graphic top right that he's just about to go through Stowe Corner, so that indicates that we're going to have 2 more laps after this one, so we are going to get 20 laps in. You can see on the tracker that Harrison is closing in on a back marker. Won't be of any worries to him. Richard Sanders, by the way, is in the pit lane, looks to be out of this race. But this has been a return to form, I think, Howard, for Adam State after an off night at Magny-Cours. This is what he needs for his championship.
Yes, absolutely. Good way to bounce back. After, yeah, well, there were a few people, I think, who had a bit of, it was an odd round, wasn't it, Magny-Cours? We had some people who shone, who maybe we hadn't seen so much of this season. He had some disruptors in the mix, such as Garrett Berry featured very prominently in that round. And yeah, you had some drivers who didn't have the best of evenings. So yeah, a very good way to bounce back, as Sam Sanders is now really hounding the back of Tim Penny. He fancies one more pass, at least in this one, Andrew.
Yeah, he does indeed, and we've seen some moves into this portion of the circuit already. Sanders just holds there as they go through Village. He needs to run a touch deep, but still has good control of it as they go through the loop. This is going to be a good opportunity, though, for Sam Sanders. We cut to the battle between Steve Hicks and Tom Dix, 2 drivers who've both had trouble in this race. Dix down the inside of Hicks as they go into Village. That's a lovely move from Tom Dix. He'll have the inside for the next corner as well. Back with our battle between Tim Penny and Sam Sanders. No change, still Penny ahead of Sanders. And now,
sorry, Andrew, I'm working you hard with these cameras.
Steve Hicks is now going to have a go, surely at Tom Dix into Brooklands. No, he's just going to sit there. And we know he's probably nursing, or both of these drivers are nursing a bit of rear end damage in their Porsche 911s. But
well, no, they're not, Andrew, because they both would have been repaired in the.
no, true. Yes, they're both back to full fitness.
Yeah.
Of course. Onto the last lap is the race leader. We'll catch back up with Kieran Harrison in a few moments' time, because we're back with the battle between Penny and Sanders, and surely Sam Sanders is going to have a really good run here down the hangar straight. Penny's going to defend to the inside. He's going to have to force Sam Sanders around the outside. And, well, unlike Penny did to Gamblin, Sam Sanders has not been able to get a line. Whoa, very close as they came off of Stowe Corner there. Penny's going to have the inside as they go into the Vale chicane. Are they going to rub wheels? There's contact between the two of them. Contact between Sanders and Penny. Well, Sanders will argue that he was there and warranted the space. That may get reviewed in due course, but Sam Sanders is through and into 10th.
Not a million miles away from what we saw between Stroll and Gasly during the Grand Prix. Actually, Andrew, it was a very similar sort of incident there, where both drivers could in a way argue that they were there and needed to be given room.
Indeed. Well, for Kieran Harrison, was now, and wow, now look at this. Now this is a battle for 19th. Yeah. And it is a battle over pole position. So David Whitehouse has caught up to Kirith Kalirai here. I think Christopher Powell has fallen back a bit as they go on to the last lap. It's all going on here in the first race of the night. Still another one of these to come up. So stay with us here on the DDMM YouTube channel. My, oh my. Race leader is continuing to go round. It's about just coming through Stowe Corner now. And we'll be taking the race win in a few moments' time. That we do know is Whitehouse has a half look down the inside into the loop, but for Kieran Harrison, this has been very routine again, has stuck with the BMW, which he's used so far this season, and takes another race victory here at Silverstone, the first one of the night, and it's a 13.5 second win over the rest of the field. Adam State does look like he's going to hold on there ahead of Charlie Summers there. Adam State over the line, P2, P3 for Charlie Summers, one of the best results he's had so far this season. But it's everywhere you look, elsewhere on the circuit, there are battles going on. Tom Dix still ahead of Steve Hicks there for 14th place, and still the battle raging on between Kalirai, Whitehouse and Powell. Two of those drivers are going to be very happy at the end of this, because they're going to have the front row of the next race on the reverse grid. One of them's not going to be happy at all, because it's going to be P21. Whitehouse having a look there. Now surely in some ways these two drivers want to work together as opposed to fight right now. Murray Adams is over the line, has got P4. Great result, top C2 driver. Willie Doyle, Tom Edwards, Mike Hart, Jack Hare, Cameron Watson, they're all in the top 10, as is Sam Sanders. But what is going to happen here? Kalirai and Whitehouse fighting somewhat unnecessarily over P19 in this race. Over the line as well have come Dan Gamblin, Tim Penny, and Whitehouse is looking down the inside again into Vale. I think Kalirai is going to be able to hold on. Whitehouse will have pole position for the next race on the reverse grid. And will indeed. My oh my, what a great last couple of laps there in the first race of the night. A 40-minute race that's absolutely flown by.
Certainly has. I really thought I thought Whitehouse was at risk of throwing something away there, but he had it in hand, I'm sure. And he will indeed line up on pole for the second race.
Well, there we go. Well, we're going to take a breather here on the commentary and be back soon for the second race. Coming up, another 40 minutes of racing here tonight at Silverstone coming right up. Keep it locked here on the DDMM YouTube channel. Can he hold that gap? Isaac Lauden's got past Ben Page now. That's for 7th place. Go either into crucial Iredale's corner. Has Davis got the run? He's not going to be able to get the run surely down here into the Stuart Essence, but he's got the run, he's got the run, big move! Switch back by Weaver.
read it beautifully, saw it coming, kept the steering open, let Ben Davies come into the inside, and he still held on to the lead. That was brilliant racing by all three of them here, and I think that's going to be the crucial moment, because Joe Weaver, unlike 24 hours ago, is not going to need to do the overtake on the last lap. Joe Weaver takes the double in Senior Rotax Round 2 of Super 1 2022.
Short line on row 11, Jake Wilkins and Andrew Ravage on row 12, and then we'll have our two qualifiers from the B final. Bryn Albin and Dean Everest form up the 26 entries for this, the lightweight sprint A final for round 9 of the 2022 Club 100 Senior Sprint Championship. 12 minutes on the clock. Green light, great start for Mike Coppin, sweeps across the front. It's a hugely important race this for the championship at the start of the run into the end of the season. Coppin versus Brunton, early advantage, Howard, to Mike Coppin.
Yeah, absolutely. Last tour of the circuit.
White flag is going to be out this time. If they get past the line, it will run to the end. There they go. Oh, it's a big moment for Chris Hansen. He's gone round. Is that going to take anybody else? Yes, it does. Kelly Wright's gone. Hart's gone. Dix has gone. My goodness me, the race is going to keep running though. It's not going to go under caution now. On the last lap, it's three of them. Sanders has the lead. He's going to hold the inside. There's not really much help for Brenton at all. He's going to try and get the side trap working here. He's pulling alongside. They're side by side as they come through turn 4. It's going to be a run to the line here for the Simply Catnip 200. It's really close between them. Is Sanders going to hold it? Oh, there's a bit of contact there on the line. It's a photo finish. It's a photo finish. It's Preston. It's Michael.
Stages of this race. Ross Witherow is digging deep again. Has got down to a 32.435 now. It's about a tenth of an. Oh, he's gone for it. Big send. My goodness me. Ross Witherow, brave as anything, on the brakes into the final corner, takes the lead of the race. That was a superb, awesome overtake, and now is Ryan McGinnis going to respond back here? He's looking for the inside now. 6 minutes have expired. That came from miles back from Ross Witherow. Kevin Shine is continuing to go round, by the way. Clearly he can drive, he's just not got a lot of power in the number 22. And oh my god, round the outside attempting. That is an outrageous manoeuvre. Oh, we saw one lap ago. That was even better from Ryan McGinnis. And over the line to take the racing room left by Whitefoot on the outside there. Good news for David Whitehouse. Look, he's got away. He just needs to get through Ascari chicane and Curva Alboreto, and he's got a great result here. Tom Dix was just holding in front of Steve Hicks there. Dix and Hicks at the moment on the outside of the top 10. They need to get up 2 positions if you're Steve Hicks to get on the front row for contact. That's going to be a big one. Into the wall goes Dix and Hicks. Through goes Ian Sumner.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to live coverage on Alpha Live of the 6th and final round for Rotax Max Challenge Switzerland 2022. My name's Andrew Mather. Great to be with you here at the historic Kart Barn Vollen Circuit on the 1st of October 2022. We're here in northern Switzerland for this season finale, and it's got all the ingredients to be an absolute cracker here today. Here's your circuit, 815 metres in length, 12 turns, technical, in its 60th year as well, 60 years of racing here at Vollen. The circuit established in 1962.
It's Michael Lenz. Oh, Michael Lenz, who had a great finish to heat number 2. Something has gone wrong for him there, and he is out of this race. That's a real shame for Michael Lenz. The driver he overtook for the lead on the last lap of heat number 2 goes by him. Samuel Ifrid, what a season it has been. He's going to finish it in the best way. The junior champion for the last 2 years. He was at Grand Final in 2021. He's going to be there again in 2022 as the senior Rotax Max champion. Samuel Ifrid takes the win here at Vollen. Kurt Wenger is going to take the win in Master Max.
Final lap of the 2022 Mini Rock Super Final here at Lonato. Cantats down the inside, going for the move into turn 4, takes the lead. Has he overshot? It's going to be side by side between the two AV Racing drivers as they approach turn 5. will be Advantage Canton on the inside.
Welcome back, everybody, to live coverage of the 2023 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Getting ready for race number 2 here this evening. And Andrew Mather and Howard Mitchell alongside in the virtual comms box getting ready for this one. And Howard, we saw a very exciting end to the end of race number 1 there. Hoping for more of the same here in race 2.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Here is your grid then. It will be David Whitehouse who lines up on pole for this one. And Kieran Kelly-Rye will be alongside. Adrian Goodwin and Sam Dimlow, row 2. Matt Salmon and Steve Hicks are on row 3. Then it's Tom Dixon, Matt Hale, Tim Penny and Dan Gamblin. Sam Sanders and Cameron Watson are on row 6. Then it's Jack Ayer and Mike Hart, Tom Edwards and Will Doyle, Murray Adams and Charlie Summers, Adam State and Kieran Harrison to round out the top 20. Christopher Powell and Alan Curtis are next up, followed by Rick Wong and James Fremont. And it's Simon Delamere and Richard Sanders to round out the 26 kart grid.
All ready to go then. The Porsche pace car pulls into pit lane. David Whitehouse has the field under his command and he's already gone. He's gone already. Look at that. He's copied one out of the Kieran Harrison strategy book and played it beautifully. Looks like Adrian Goodwin has got the jump as well on Kieran Kelly-Rye. Down the inside, looking there with Sam Dimlow, who says hello in the chat during the break. That was on Matt Salmon. Matt Salmon just gave him enough room, held on to the position. Into Village they go then. It looks like, I think that's another one of the Porsches going down the inside of Sam Dimlow there and having a bit of a squirm as they go through Village. They're all being very well behaved though. Tim Penny's looking for one round the outside of Steve Hicks, but brilliant start by David Whitehouse there, Howard. Just got on with it, has got up the road and got the lead of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. Went really early on that and just caught them all a bit unawares. We thought that Kieran Harrison did that somewhat in race 1, but I think Whitehouse had him there for sprightliness of getaway. They'll work their way, I should say, onto the national pit straight.
And we should say as well that drivers, once the pace car has pulled in, the rules state in this championship that leader can go whenever they want. Now they can't then stop, they can't then pull up. Once they go, they go. The risk being that if they go too early, they pick up a overtaking the pace car penalty. But that's fairly low chances of that happening round here at Silverstone. So David Whitehouse got that one absolutely spot on board with Tim Penny. The orange car ahead is Steve Hicks. Tom Dix as well on the outside.
Battle resumed basically between those two.
As round, half round, and just about recovering there is Tim Penny, but he's going to lose out. Sam Sanders is going to gain this time as a result of someone having a moment on the first couple of laps. Kieran Kelly-Rye's off. Kieran Kelly-Rye off a long way into the gravel at Vale. Is going to recover back onto circuit but fall all the way down to the bottom of the order. There's also been problems on lap 1, Howard, for Charlie Summers, because I just saw him in the background there. Driver who would have started around 19th, 18th spots, for some reason is down in 25th.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely been a bit of at least one, if not of several ruckuses down there. Oh, apologies. Got some drivers, other drivers dropping down out there. Alan Curtis is round.
Is indeed, and it's going to fall down outside of the top 20. So dramas again here on the first couple of laps, but it's all isolated incidents, 1 or 2 cars, no more than that. Here is your winner from race number 1, Kieran Harrison. And well, we think back to earlier in the season, round 2 of the championship at Fuji. How you timed your pit stop in this race, Howard? Very, very interesting. Do we see Kieran Harrison pit maybe a little bit early? He's having a look down the inside into Cops, and
my goodness me, there's going to be two cars go side by side through Cobb's corner and not hit each other. Look, it can happen.
Yes, it can. I would say he's got to be thinking about a lovely move, by the way, there.
Just hold the
Good old
inside.
Tom Edwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, really bold, as Tom Edwards was so surprised he went to mow the lawn slightly. But you've got to think about it, haven't you? If you can, as a battle for the lead here, Andrew, into Stowe. But if he can create some clean air, it's worth it him doing it, because I think he's got his work cut out getting through all of this traffic, as Steve Hicks seems to be going slowly. He's just let a bunch of cars past him.
Might be a slowdown on the exit of Stowe Corner that he was dealing with there.
Yes, indeed.
Now, the top two, for me, have got to think about this very carefully, Howard. As in, don't fight right now, because they've got a good gap over the majority of the field here.
Adam State's in the pit lane.
Yeah. At the end of lap number 2, which is legal as far as I'm aware. Down the inside, Cameron Watson on Matt Hale. The point being, for those ahead at the moment, I'm trying to cast my mind back now, I may get this wrong, apologies if I do, that William Doyle made a long strap work in this same part of the evening back at Fuji, just because he had track position and he just ran it long and at good pace whilst everybody else was squabbling behind. On board now with Kieran Harrison, that's Dan Gamblin just ahead, who has been in and around 10th place what seems like the whole evening so far.
Yes, yeah.
Two BMWs going at it. We saw Kieran Harrison go for a side-by-side through Cops Corner last time around. Is he going to have a think about doing it again? He is going to have a think about doing it again, but this time, no, he's not far up alongside enough for Dan Gamblin to have to give him the space there. So he just pulls out of that one. That is William Doyle just behind.
But I think he'd do well just to sort of go, okay, I'll just hug the back of Kieran Harrison, and when he prizes the door open, I'll go through the door.
Step right through. David Whitehouse continues to lead this race then. Good pace from the Seesaw Digital car. 4/10 ahead of Adrian Goodwin, but they are being... Oh, it's going through there. That was Jack Eyre on Matt Salmon. Tom Dix has got through past Adrian Goodwin.
Dan Gamblin in. Oh, sorry, yes, sorry. No, Tom Dix has got through, sorry. And Kieran Harrison's got through on Dan Gamblin. It's too much passing, that's the problem here.
It's a problem that regularly occurs in this championship. There's just far too much overtaking. How is someone meant to commentate on this?
I agree, mate. I don't know who they got to do that gig.
Tom Dix, it's a good opportunity for Tom Dix. He's probably out of the running in terms of the round win tonight with a not so good result in race number 1, but a chance here to take a high position in race 2, maybe even a race win.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As Tim Penny is recovering there, and that he's getting by Simon Dallin. Oh, why have we got the puff tyre smoke there? But I didn't quite clock where that had come from.
I think it had come from Dan Gamblin, because he's fallen down to 16th place now.
Yes, he has. He has, and he's getting passed by Charlie Summers, but he's going to try and fight back.
He's going to try and fight back. Summers will have the inside line as they go through Lovefield, take the position. Will Tim Penny have a go into Cops Corner back at the front of the field? Sam Sanders is going past Adrian Goodwin there, so Sanders into third. Was that Goodwin looking a bit slow out of Cops Corner, perhaps?
I think that was good. Goodwin certainly quite wide out of Cops Corner, I think, as well. He was challenging Whitehouse for the lead not too long ago, and now he's dropped down. Well, as you said, Andrew, last lap Dix got through on Goodwin, but now Sanders through as well. Oh, look at this, side by side coming onto the hanger straight, and that's off for Matt Hale between himself
and Murray Adams.
Very unusual to see cars coming together there, but to be fair, that's very unusual to see them side by side through there, Andrew.
Indeed.
And that is two of our key Class 2 protagonists, I'm going to use that buzzword I like to use, coming together there, Andrew, coming on to Hanger.
And two organising committee members as well.
I wasn't going to mention that.
Have to get me neutral trousers on, aren't I? Reviews later on. Fastest driver on circuit, Kieran Harrison, 159.557. Ooh, has a look down the inside of Cameron Watson, who closes the door as they go through Village, but he's going to have a compromised line. Not enough space down the inside there into the loop. Kieran Harrison, oh, there's a touch. There's a touch there as they exit the loop, and Harrison's on the lights, not too happy about that. I don't think Cameron Watson did too much wrong there. I think that was just very hard racing.
Yeah, Watson did not want to let him by. I think this is a slight thing for Harrison now. Everyone sort of
does have to be a little bit careful, does Kieran Harrison, because with the protest system at play, this is the only time I'm going to mention it tonight, but we should. He has had 2 out of 3 so far this year, as this is the battle between Tom Dix and Sam Sanders.
And Aaron Goodwin behind. Aaron Goodwin side by side as well, Anders, and that's Jack Eyre through on Adrian Goodwin now as well.
How nicely is David Whitehouse doing at the front of this order? He's holding at the front. Good pace from Whitehouse at the moment, letting all of these squabble behind and gaining from this track position, I feel. And is Sanders now going to have a run down the Hanger Straight and have a go at the Porsche? 2 German marks going toe-to-toe here at Silverstone. Sanders to the outside. If he can keep a line on the inside for Vale, have a good opportunity, but he's out in the rough there, not on the racing line. There's not much grip through that part of Stoke Corner. He's going to have to just concede the position back to Tom Dix, and Jack Eyre's getting closer all the while.
Yeah, watching these proceedings closely, isn't he? I thought he was going to have a go there into Vale, but just keeping his powder dry. You can see in the background Sam Dimolo's starting to come under a lot of pressure from Kieran Harrison as well now. In fact, correct that, there he is through into turn number 1 into Abbey.
And past Watson as well, if we'd not already mentioned, but just to come back to the point earlier on protests. So Harrison has had 2 protests against him upheld so far this season. If he was to get a 3rd, he would have to sit a round out. Now, the sit-out could act as a dropped score, and he has got those in hand this year. Should mention there is a driver sitting out tonight, having had 3 strikes so far this season. So it can happen.
So yeah, indeed, it is being applied.
Don't want it to happen, of course, but it can. Meanwhile, back at the front of the order, David Whitehouse under a bit of pressure now from Tom Dix and Sam Sanders. I just wonder as well for David Whitehouse, the pace of the relative drivers behind would suggest that the inevitable is going to happen, but he's gained a lot from this in terms of track position. Does he pit now and do a 13-14 lap stint to finish this race, knowing that he can run in clean air quite happily?
I think it's got to be a consideration, hasn't it? Because although I have to say, he's just had a really good run there through Maggots, Beckett's and Chaplin onto the back straight, and actually Sam Sanders is applying the pressure to Tom Dix. So once again, he's just able to keep the battling cars behind at arm's length. Again, Sam Sanders is out on the outside of Stowe. Again, Jack Eyre sniffs an opportunity there, getting a little bit of deja vu here now, Andrew, as Tom Dix will still be in 2nd place into Vale. Has Jack Eyre prized the door open? No, he hasn't. And once again, Tom Dix is on the tail of David Whitehouse. So yeah, and David's just going to take a slightly shallower line just to deter them towards turn 1. That might compromise him all the way to Village.
I wouldn't do this too much if I was Whitehouse, because this is going to lose you time. And down the inside now is going to be Tom Dix to take the lead of the race. Sam Sanders is going to be there as well, and Jack Eyre. Whitehouse will be on the inside now as they go through the loop. Sanders on the outside, but is on the racing line crucially and should have good traction. Once again, the Audi struggles to get the power down. Jack Eyre's going to be down the inside now, looking for 3rd place. How do you play this if you're Jack Eyre? You could have 2 down into Brooklyn's corner. Whitehouse is going to defend there hard to the inside, holds on to 2nd place. Admirable
move there from Whitehouse, but is it costing these drivers too much time? Because here comes Adrian Goodwin in 5th. Here comes Kieran Harrison side by side between Sanders and Eyre as they exit Luffield. Wonderful racing once again in the Club 100 BUKC iRacing Championship. Through goes Eyre into 3rd as they head towards Copse Corner. Has got the move done. This is fantastic. Oh, as off goes Adrian Goodwin. Now, was that a mistake or was he encouraged into that one? He's going to lose 2 positions to Kieran Harrison and Matt Salmon. My, oh my.
I don't think Harrison was close. I'm amazed, by the way, that he held on to that one. But the tarmac runoff there of Copse saving him in many regards.
I just saved that one 10 years ago.
No, absolutely. I don't know, Andrew. I'd say they're gifting this one to Kieran somewhat because it's allowed him just to close up onto the back of them here. I know we're all here to race and have fun ultimately, right? And they're having some good racing fun. And David Whitehouse has been driving really well. As Kieran Harrison is going to go to the pits.
Yeah, for me, that's an absolutely spot-on call if you're Kieran Harrison, because you've seen this group squabbling up ahead. It's going to cost you time. It's what you have to do with these reverse grids tactically sometimes. You have to run them like a semi-time trial.
And you were asking me that question, Andrew, of whether David Whitehouse should have considered pitting just before it all kicked off. And
well, they were down. They were down in the 2-minute 2s last time around, and we have seen them. All of their best lap times are 2-minute 0.
I mean, I guess the only counter argument would be where would David have emerged if he had have done so. But it has to be said that time gets lost through doing this defence. Sam Sanders is going to. Hey, the Audi didn't have problems with traction then. Thought he was going to tuck underneath coming onto the Wellington Straight. He's going to pull alongside Jack Eyre into Brooklands. They go. The Audi is ahead.
He's run deep.
He's gone. Yeah, he has run deep, and that's going to allow Eyre through. But exactly this kind of exchange is what I think is going to mean that when all is said and done, you're going to have Kieran Harrison out in the lead, Andrew, at this rate. I mean, Tom Dix, to be fair, is being allowed to run his pace pretty much ahead of these battling 3.
Kieran Harrison has re-emerged just behind James Fremont by 0.5 of a second. Closing all the time. If you can get ahead of James Fremont, there's a nice bit of space just ahead, some 6 seconds up to Christopher Powell ahead of side by side Adrian Goodwin and Tim Penny, and that's Goodwin back up to 13th spot, but Penny's going to fight back here as they approach into Maggots. That's going to get a little bit tasty as they transfer into Beckett's now. Are they still side by side? I think they're sort of still side by side. Goodwin has to give a bit of room, but is now going to be wide as they go through Chapel. Through goes Tim Penny. Mike Hart's going to get involved in the yellow and green Porsche as well. I do love these reverse grid races. As I say, when they have a nice clean start, as we've had tonight, and everybody's still in play, this is fantastic round Silverstone tonight. And we've still got more than a half of this race to go as Adrian Goodwin pits, as does Steve Hicks.
You say as does Steve Hicks. I'm a little confused as what's happening with Hicksy, Andrew, because he's been on in the pit lane a long time here.
A long time. So the race, the championship leader going into tonight on the overall scores with no drops applied. I think he's going to be losing the lead of that championship tonight. It has not been a good one for Steve Hicks. Back at the front of the field, Tom Dix leads the race in his Porsche, number 27. Jack Eyre in the BMW just behind number 13. Sam Sanders third in this train in the Audi. What brilliant work from the Bob once again. I do think it's been serving this series very well that we've got 3 different marks in the top 3, 4 in the top 5. Everybody being given a really good opportunity to race here tonight round Silverstone.
The gap between Tom Dix and Kieran Harrison is just, it's hovering around the 24-second mark, Andrew.
Yeah.
Trying to think, that sounds sort of pit stop territory to me.
25 seconds is what Kieran Harrison lost relative to those up ahead on, well, just ahead of him. It's more like 26 seconds to these drivers.
Yep.
These drivers are now back down into the 2-minute 0-second lap times out, sorry.
Yeah, but they have to have the mentality, Andrew. They're not racing each other right now. They're racing Kieran Harrison. I imagine him sort of ghosting his way through the middle of this pack in some ways, because at the moment they've got to keep the pace up if they want to have a chance to not be undercut basically by Kieran Harrison through these pit stops.
I think he might have them already, because the gap from 1st to 16th is 23.5 seconds, which I don't think that's enough. Unless they do something interesting with tyres, I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, agreed. I think they're struggling here.
Tom Dix will continue to lead this race. Through into the Wellington straight they go then. They're on lap number 10. After this lap, they'll be halfway. We saw the previous race go to 20 laps. Is what we've got going on here.
It's Will Doyle and Cameron Watson battling away.
Yeah.
Coming out of the loop and onto this Wellington straight.
Into the pits as well. You can see Rick Wong and Simon Delamere. So they've both pitted at the end of lap 9 for themselves. Steve Higgs is back out as well, because that's Steve right in ahead of them in 26th spot.
Yeah, I think he might have had some kind of... Yeah, just looking at the lobby chat, it's hard to tell. I think he might have had some kind of slowdown, and maybe that led to an incident. Oh, goodness me, is this getting tied through cops? And that's Matt Salmon round. Whoa, and that's a hard-in-the-mouth moment for Sam Dimolo. Sorry, Tom Edwards it was, going by.
I don't think there was contact there.
That's national pit exit, which is really messing with my head as he rejoins the track.
I've not seen someone pull off that kind of line since David Coulthard in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Now that's a reference. Back at the front.
Oh, twitch from Sanders. Whoa. I don't think, Andrew, as much as I do love the Audi, unless he was just geeing himself up to go into the pits, I don't feel that this the sprint setup on this Audi is as stable as one would like in the high-speed corners.
Not at all. So Sanders comes into pit lane. Also with it running in dirty air. Now, of course, these cars don't have as much downforce as others within iRacing. They don't get as badly affected as the GTEs, for example.
Matt Salmon pits as well.
Suffer with it to an extent. I wonder if that's been contributing to the problems for Sam Sanders so far tonight. And I didn't see a car go up in the air there, so I think that was fuel only for Sam Sanders. Now let's see, where does he come out in relation to Kieran Harrison? That's going to tell us a lot about the second half of this race as Sam Dimolo tries to find a way past Charlie Summers. Or has that been the other way around, that Summers has got past Dimolo on a bit of a recovery drive? Sam Sanders has re-emerged behind.
He's 4 seconds. Yeah, 4 seconds behind Kieran Harrison. So I really think you are looking at your net race leader here.
Yep. Through Brooklands once again.
How do we know how long Sanders lost as opposed to Harrison, Andrew?
We will know in due course.
Okay.
Once the drivers come round to complete their current laps.
We don't know what Kieran did with his tyres, do we?
No.
We don't know.
No, I can't tell you. It was about 41 minus 13. So that's that going to be about 27, 28 seconds.
For Sanders?
Correct.
Okay, so, and you say Kieran lost something more in the region of 26. So, if we're saying that Sanders, if you're saying you didn't see Sanders go up on the jacks to take tyres, there may not be an advantage to play as Jack Air comes into the pits.
And the thing is, the track is a bit more rubbered in now. They've got knowledge on the track temperatures from the first race. If it was on the edge between two tyres or no tyres at all, then I think that probably explains with better conditions. Oh, Jack Air's gone beyond his pit box there. That's why he has to reverse back now. Jack Air is taking tyres. So I suppose that's the other argument, isn't it, Howard? That if you're not going to gain on not taking tyres, you do take tyres to then try and be a bit more racy towards race end.
Yep. Where does Jack emerge in relation to Sam Sanders? Sam Sanders is by. So that is as they were, isn't it?
Yes.
Sanders was ahead
no,
of there
because Sanders,
before.
Sanders
No, they
was
had
behind.
changed. They had changed, yeah. So Sam Sanders got the jump on Jack Air there. So the last jigsaw piece to slot into place, at least of this top flight battle in the race, is Tom Dix.
2 minutes 28.5 seconds was the pit affected lap time for Sam Sanders. So yes, his pit affected lap time was about a second and a half slower than we saw with Kieran Harrison.
Still riding well here, David Whitehouse, Andrew. We do wait to see where he'll emerge from the pits, but and maybe there were better ways of playing the battle, but he was doing really well at the front of this field, mate. I think that's it's a really good drive so far.
I think now you've got to get in and pit now, because in effect he's not racing William Doyle, Cameron Watson, Tom Edwards behind. He's racing that group of C2s further back. He elects to carry on. I think there's a potential C2 race win here to be banked, and getting a bit of clear air. I mean, if we're saying 28 seconds, Sam Dimolo elects to go in. Quick bit of
Steve Hicks is in again as well.
Yeah.
Sam Dimolo, Dan Gamblin as well is electing to pit on this lap.
David Whitehouse, if he takes a 28-second pit stop, is going to come back out around Adam State, Charlie Summers, who have both pitted.
So you can see here what we're talking about, incidentally, because you've got the BMW Sam Dimolo near the shot, and he's got up on the jacks. Dan Gamblin, Andrew, not up on the jacks, and there he is away.
Yep.
So he's and side by side out of the pit lane. There is the difference writ large of taking tyres versus not.
Yep. Back in the front of the order, Tom Dix continues, hasn't pitted yet, so it's the top 7 who have all not pitted yet.
I'm with you, Andrew. I do not think that David, from the point of view of Class 2...
No point fighting these behind.
Yeah. But also doesn't want to be losing time, whether it be defending or just being courteous. You're always losing some time. You're always going to come off that optimum line. So I think if I was him, I would consider boxing this lap. That's a slightly shallow line coming onto the hanger straight.
And if you're the cars behind, maybe you think about doing whatever the opposite is.
Yes.
The trouble is, you don't really have that much time to react if you're going to pull the opposite strap.
It's
because
true.
It's a very short run.
They're both in.
Yeah, so they're both in. They're both in.
In fact, they're all in. Cameron Watson, Tom Edwards, Murray Adams, all in on this lap, as is race leader Tom Dix, Andrew.
So Tom Dix has done a really good job in the early stages of this race. Has gone longer on the tyres.
Now, what does he do on tyres?
I think you go opposite. I think you go for a cross number 2, as are all of these going to go for fresh tyres.
Whilst this is happening, Kieran Harrison does go by. I'll tell you for free, he has taken the lead of this race, but we're just waiting to see who emerges from the pit lane first. Tom Dix, of course, was there first.
I think Tom Dix took all 4 there.
Yeah, I agree.
That was a longer hold.
Behind Sanders, and he's side by side with Jack Air on pit exit. So I would agree with you there, Andrew, although there might be a slight undercut effect there. But I think he's chosen to take all 4 tyres. But we should acknowledge this man, off of camera, has now resumed a position he's become very used to this season at the head of this field. And he has emerged with a gap of some 7 seconds to Sam Sanders behind him. So he has played that brilliantly from coming from 20th on the grid as he did in this reversed or semi-reverse grid race, and he's worked his way through the field with aplomb.
I think we've got to say
it's getting increasingly difficult to see how anybody is going to... Oh, it's around goes Will Doyle. Will Doyle off, and Tom Edwards off in the background as well. Now, what happened there? That was very strange. And I think there's damage to the rear. There might be damage to the rear left of Tom Edwards. That might be just be the angle that we're looking at. There goes Dan Gamblin by.
Oh yeah, there is a bit of damage there. I couldn't click their names fast enough on my camera control. They were falling down so quickly. Yeah, that's very unusual. If this was real world racing, Andrew, you'd suggest that there was oil down there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the way that they both went off.
Oh, there's a lot of damage to the back of the number 58. And I've got to say, Tom Edwards is doing a very good job, but you can see how much he's struggling to get it under control, under braking, which if you've got a bit of toe deranged at the rear of the car, that is really good where it's going to be affecting things. So yeah, you've got to pit if you're Tom Edwards. That is a car that's not going to make the end of the race. Will Doyle has carried on. Now he didn't make contact with the barriers.
Yeah,
and it's another Audi that's having handling issues here tonight. I think I would wonder when we go and watch that one back more out of curiosity than anything that Tom Edwards was in reactions to a spinning Audi in the middle of the track through Cox.
Yes.
And almost sacrificed himself. But for Will Doyle, I think that was just losing control of the car through a very on-edge corner. Very, very strange to see.
Slightly lively rear, isn't it?
Yeah. There we go.
Maybe it's just a very deep version of a commentator's curse, because I do keep talking about how I like to race the Audi.
Yes.
So maybe I've just generally cursed the setup.
Them all. Curse them all.
David Whitehouse,
Yes.
5th place overall and highest place Class 2 runner at the moment by some 1.8 seconds over Murray Adams, who is the car at the back of this pack, Andrew.
Yes.
Group of 5 cars, and Murray Adams is in the Porsche 911 GT3 992 Evo. Is that the correct full title?
Yes, the new
I
one.
don't know.
The new
one.
No! Whitehouse is going to go round and collects Adam State. Oh, and David Whitehouse's brilliant race up to this point falls apart. There's a lot of damage to the front of Adam State's Ferrari. There goes a Ferrari bumper off the front of his 488. Oh, and for David Whitehouse, who had up to this point done everything so well. I don't know whether he took tyres. I just oh dear. I just wonder, was that it's either going to be tyres wearing a bit or cold tyres still from the pit stop, but either way, David Whitehouse's chances of a C2 victory here tonight are dashed like that. But what a story this is as well for Adam State. One of the championship contenders is now in serious trouble, Howard, because the front end of that Ferrari is completely gone. The splitter is bashed in. I mean, at least he's going to be having good cooling at the moment to the radiators, but surely he can't carry on like that. And he's not in a particularly strong position at the moment. He's only in P7. This is more good news for Kieran Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, the splitter's more intact than I thought it would be, actually. So I'm not sure. I mean, he's either going to be compromised somewhere like here on turning.
Yeah.
But if anything, I actually think, I don't know, Andrew, the body language of the car to me suggests the aero's okay. It's more perhaps going to be drag on the straights. But let's see how he is through this section. He's not dropping back off the back of Charlie Summers and Cameron Watson ahead of him as much as I would have expected. I mean, let's go on board with him.
He's slightly right-hand down as well.
Yeah, that is not a straight steering wheel. And yeah, okay, Murray Adams is all over the back of him. Thinks about the inside, elects to go for the outside.
That's a brave one. Murray round the outside of a wounded, prancing horse. Has he got the inside line? Well, Adam State's come in. I think that's the sensible thing for Adam State to do. He'll hopefully still have his fast repair in play, and he can get back out on circuit and recover to maybe 15th, 16th place.
I imagine that he will listen to that one back, hear me say the body language of the car looks okay, and go, "You must be joking." All I meant is I would expect it to understeer like a boat, and it was still somehow getting through cops. In some ways, the damaged Ferrari has proved more aerodynamically stable than an undamaged Audi this evening. Yeah, devastating stuff for Adam State in his race. And as you say, Andrew, that carried championship bearings to it as well. As we're looking at the battle over third place now between Jack Eyre and a presumably well-betired, as in taking 4 tyres, we believe, in the pit stop, Tom Dix.
Yes, and Tom Dix is holding a nice slipstream there behind the Audi number 13 ahead, with this lap plus 3 more to go. Through Beckett's now. Good turn in there from Dix. On board in the Porsche, trying to keep a tighter line, but we'll be having a bit of dirty air wake off the M4 ahead. Down the hanger straight. Beautiful engine tone as ever from the Porsche 992. Sam Sanders looking good as well for a second place. He's played the strategy well in this race because he's got past both of these drivers by pitting a little bit earlier. There is a bit of traffic ahead of them as well. Here is David Whitehouse now trying to find a way back through for ahead of Sanders. I really do feel for Dave, because that up to that point that had been one of his best races in this championship, and he's been here since the very start.
Agreed. We might have a few things to shout about towards the end, though. Here he is, lining up and moving to Stowe. That's nice. That's nice. That's a way to cast off the demons for what happened to him a few laps ago in that very corner.
Indeed. Cameron Watson has got Charlie Summers all over the rear bumper. Charlie Summers is on for a very good result here tonight if he can hold this position. Because apart from Kieran Harrison, nobody else has really been consistently at the front of these orders. Maybe Jack Eyre, the other one at the moment. Watson's running the points ahead, who's on for a podium overall once the results are combined. Murray Adams looking down the inside.
Whoa.
Hello, a big move from the Scotsman, and takes 6th place. A lot of confidence there in the Porsche. That was one of the most stunning overtakes I think we've seen this season.
I mean, the thing is, I know it's at the end of a long straight, but the braking zone for Brooklands, Andrew, isn't actually that long.
It's not.
To come from that far back, that is a move and a half there from Murray Adams. And moves himself up into 6th. You're leading class 2, Murray. You're fine. You can calm down. But my goodness, yeah, that was a great move.
I don't think he's done yet, because he's now closing in on Cameron Watson for P5. This could be a big night for Murray, who's done very nicely in the GT3s, the more saloon type cars so far this year. Had a great start to the season in the doubleheader around Okayama and Daytona. That was in the MX-5 and the GT86s.
Is this actually a way for drivers to tell us as commentators that they've switched car? Was he in the BMW before switching to the Porsche? and was Matt? I think Matt was in the Ferrari. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's actually to aid the commentators.
Cheeky boys. Cheeky. There'll be words in the WhatsApp. Oh, as Cameron Watson's like, nope, you're not coming through there, mate. But Murray Adams is going to have a go. No way. Round the outside, through Abbey, now into Farm. We'll have the inside line. They'll side by side each other into Village. If Murray can keep a nose in there on the approach to the loop, he's going to be having the advantage here, but he'll be on the dirty line and not have a particularly good exit surely onto the Wellington straight, but he will. Through goes Murray Adams. What a beautiful bit of driving. Up into P5. Is having a really, really strong evening, a statement evening for his C2 chances. 2 fantastic overtakes.
Yeah, agreed. Really, really impressive stuff Barely have time to marvel at it though, because this is Will Doyle and Tim Penny battling away into Brooklands. But blimey, what an exchange there. I think Murray benefited from Cameron. I think Cameron almost conceded too much room. In other words, he hugged the inside on the exit of the loop because he's like, I know that Murray's somewhere off to my right, and it allowed Murray to just run his car, you know, use all of the exit onto the Wellington straight and get the better exit, even though you would have expected Cameron to have the better run with the switchback through the corner. As Tim Penny is looking for any which way by on Will Doyle here. He's had some good races tonight as Tim Penny. I know he had to do a bit of a recovery drive in race 1, but hopefully he's had fun, because I've had fun watching what he's been doing.
Absolutely. Leader onto the last lap then. Kieran Harrison has had a perfect evening and is on to take another big haul of points, another 100 championship points in this year's Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Adam State just casually goes around the outside of Dan Gamblin there. Another brilliant move. Will be on fresh tyres though. I think that'll be to the advantage of Adam. That'll have come in.
If an elevator breaks on you, they say get straight back into an elevator.
Yes.
Adam State and David Whitehouse have applied this theory to Stowe Corner this evening. If you have an incident in Stowe, just go all in on the moves. Outside, inside, why not?
The leader, I think he's just coming through on towards Copse Corner at the moment. Side by side once again. This is between Cameron Watson and Charlie Summers. Charlie Summers trying to take 6th place away from Cameron Watson, who just needs to be careful a little bit there. And he's not moving around too much in the braking zones. I think that was okay. I think that was fine.
Yeah, he gets away with that because of the point we made earlier about it not actually being as long a braking zone as you think. I think if it was a big hairpin, that might have been a little bit more heart in the mouth for all concerned.
Still not done yet. Here is your race leader. Well, this has been a lovely Wednesday night drive out for Kieran Harrison. Very calm, very relaxed, very much in control. But a big, massive statement once again that it is increasingly looking like this is Kieran Harrison from Leeds University Motorsports Championship to lose this season. Still got a lot of work to do as there's a slow Tim Penny out through Woodcote there, but for Kieran Harrison, he wins at Silverstone. He takes round 6 of this year's Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Dominance once again in his BMW, but there's all kinds of things to be decided here on the last lap. Sam Sanders is going to take P2. Great response after a difficult race 1. Jack Air P3. More great results for Rethink Racing. Tom Dix P4. Murray Adams is going to win in C2 by taking 5th place. Cameron Watson is going to get the elbows out and hold on to 6th place ahead of Charlie Summers, who's had a good night tonight. William Doyle recovers from a spin. Or will recover from a spin at Copse Corner to take 8th, 9th for Mike Hart, 10th for a recovering Adam State, but you've got to feel that's a little bit of a bruise on his championship hopes. 2nd place in C2 for Dan Gamblin, another C2 race podium for Matt Salmon there in 12th place overall, 3rd in class. Adrian Goodwin 13th, David Whitehouse 14th, what could have been for the Seesaw Digital entry here tonight. Tom Edwards as well, P15, Tim Penny, Sam Dimolo 16th, Tim Penny 17th, Kirith Kalirai 18th, Chris Powell 19th, James Fremont in the top 20, and then it will be Rick Wong who will be the top, well, will he be the top C3 home in his Rexy Porsche? Yes, he will. Rick Wong takes C3 honours there in that one ahead of Alan Curtis. Matt Hale takes 23rd. That's not a good result at all for the, what are we calling it again? The Ferrari or the Ferrari? Who knows? It's 23rd for Matt Hale in that one. Simon Delamere is going to be home in 24th. And Sam Sanders is already home in 25th, a lap down, one retirement being Steve Hicks. And breathe, everybody, because that's the end of the race. My goodness me, what a couple of races, 2 40-minute races that have absolutely flown by here tonight round Silverstone and iRacing for the Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. If you didn't enjoy that, I think you're on the wrong channel. But if you did, make sure that you've clicked the like button and the subscribe button as well.
I will say this actually, Andrew. Really good overtaking, really good racing tonight. If you didn't like that, you must like your racing more
sedate.
Well, no, I was going to say bombastically crazy with not even knowing if people are going to make corners. For that, you should go back and watch Magny Core. There, you don't even know if people are going to come across the line in the right direction. So this was not a sedate evening, but it felt like a bit of a return to slightly more. At least it was. It seemed slightly more normal racing, albeit as exciting and fun and bombastic overtakes as ever. I think I've got to. If I have to give a driver of the day, I think just Murray Adams' moves in that race just entertained me thoroughly. What a couple of laps he had, working his way past Charlie Summers and Cameron Watson. That was great. And you do feel sorry for David Whitehouse not getting the Class 2 win there, because again, we've been there, right, where a car lets go of you in a high-speed corner like that. A moment of pressure where you've been leaning on the aero of your car and the grip of your car all race long. And I can see him as well apologising in the chat already to Adam State as well. So sportsmanlike behaviour there as well. So,
yeah.
Got a feel for him, but good result for Murray Adams there in Class 2. I don't think I can take away either, Andrew, from... it's easy, actually, because he's making it look so easy. It is easy to forget what Kieran Harrison is doing in this championship against the calibre of driver that we have here. It was something special, I have to say.
It is indeed. We'll stay on the air.
You didn't even ask me for my review there, mate. I just went into it.
We will stay on air, of course, until we get a formalised result. Thank you for tuning in. As I say, next DDMM action won't be on this channel unless I do some Gran Turismo 7 streaming before the weekend. But we'll be on Sunday on the Alpha Live channel. We'll be up the road at Shennington Kart Racing Club for their biggest event of the year, the Shennington Super Prix, which will also include the biggest demonstration of the year for the British Historic Kart Club, which, if you've never seen that before, definitely tune in for that. It's
always loved the
bonkers
historic.
Half an hour of karting action on Alpha Live that you'll see all year, and that's quite a statement. But very much looking forward to that, and what should be some very good racing in the modern classes as well.
Indeed. I got to say as well, if you're down there at Shennington as well, go and talking to the historic kart folks as well is always a fascinating thing to do. They've got so much knowledge and passion, and really like that aspect of that event.
I definitely will be on my walks around the paddock for that one as well. A couple of chats coming in from Steve Hicks, who's been very prompt on the points tonight. World's biggest slowdown on lap 3 rather ruined that race. But we do have a result, a provisional result, of course, because we still have a protest period afterwards. I don't think that we're going to have many, if any, at all tonight, because I didn't see any. I don't think DDMM VAR's going to have to come in at any point tonight. But there we go. Let's have a run up the order then from 26th place up to the top. 26th place, Richard Sanders, 149 points within tonight, and we'll take championship points worthy of finishing 26th in the round. 25th for Simon Delamere on 151. Third of the C3. Second in C3 is Rick Wong on 156, who's beaten out on tiebreaker by James Fremont also on 156. Winning in C3 tonight, though, was Alan Curtis, 22nd overall on 156. 21st, Steve Hicks was not expected. I know he's not had any practice, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. But 159 points for Steve means he finishes in 21st into the top 20. Christopher Powell on 160. 19th was Kirith Kalirai on 163, beaten by 1 point by Matt Hale on 164 in 18th. 2 more points for David Whitehouse, puts him 17th on 166, 1 point behind Sam Dimolo
in 16th. Into the top 15 we go then. Adrian Goodwin on 169, Tim Penny 14th on 171. In 13th place we find our driver third on the podium in C2 tonight, Matt Salmon, 172 points scored across the 2 races tonight, 13th place overall, and another very good performance from one of the newest drivers in this championship, continuing to go from strength to strength. Second place in C2 tonight. Very glad to see this for Dan Gamblin. That one's been coming. 178 points on the night, 12th overall, so there'll be points for 12th for Dan Gamblin. Tom Edwards in 11th on 179. Let's break into the top 10. We find Tom Dix in 10th place on 182. 9th for Mike Hart. A bit of a quiet night for Mike, but decent points in the championship nonetheless, virtue of scoring 184 round points across the 2 races here tonight. 7th place for William Doyle on 187. Really tight in this run from 7th all the way up to 2nd. That spin through Copse Corner really costing Doyle tonight, because 1 point further ahead was Sam Sanders in 6th on 188. There was a tie actually between Sam Sanders and Adam State, which I think I'm right in saying has gone virtue of fastest lap to Adam State, because they both got second places in their races as their top results. So 188 apiece for Sanders and State, but State takes it virtue of a slightly faster lap across the evening, so that's 5th place for Adam State. 4th for Jack Eyre on 189. Into our top 3 overall, and you will note as well, we've not had our C2 winner yet. 3rd place for Charlie Summers, 190 points for Charlie. Got to be one of his best results of the season so far, and that's good. That hopefully is the springboard for Charlie to have a really strong second half of the year. 2nd overall, a huge number of championship points, is your C2 winner, Murray Adams, on 191. Those 2 moves at the end, towards the end of the race, really key in that. 4 points, and remember it's pretty much a point of position in this championship. There's a little bit of waiting up further up the order you go, but either way, 4 points covering from Murray Adams down to William Doyle in 7th place. Those will be some big changes in the championship proceedings, but I think it was not really in doubt at any point tonight. Your winner of round 6 of the 2023 Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship here at Silverstone tonight. 204 points scored across the evening, wins by 13 and takes the full complement of championship points to boot. Kieran Harrison takes another victory here in this championship. But what a night it has been, Howard. As I say, the 2 40-minute races, sometimes they have a little bit of a lull at the start, and then it really crescendos as the strategies start to play themselves out with the pit stops. But they have been full-out sprint races almost from start to finish in both 40-minute races tonight. I think we've had a lot of fun, haven't we?
Yeah, totally. Brilliant racing, I have to say. Some amazing moves this evening. And that is a big role. We should make clear here, Murray Adams doing what I call this might be a niche reference to some, doing what I call a Jackie Chan DC racing right there, and getting his car in 2nd place overall there in Class 2. But we should make clear, Andrew, he will get the benefit of that positioning. He isn't. It's just not. It's not just scoring within the class. It's not like, oh, okay, well, we'll still just get, whatever it is, 100 points for finishing top Class 2. No, he will get the points. He will get the 98 points for finishing overall there. So he will benefit from a fantastic showing there. And as I think you said earlier this evening, that is a statement of intent there for him. And another masterful performance from the Porsche 919 to Murray's Jackie Chan DC Racing there. Kieran Harrison, another masterful performance there. Anyone who didn't follow the 2017 Le Mans 24 Hours is now completely confused. But no, some really good driving from our class winners there in classes 1 and 2. And well done, Alan Curtis, as well, just to round out the class winners there.
Indeed. Well, very good stuff then from the CLUB100 BUKC iRacing Championship. This is where I catch myself on the hop because we are going into our summer break.
We are.
So it's a little bit of a... Go ahead, mate.
23rd of August.
There we go.
The information you're after. It'll be the GT3s at Spa-Francorchamps.
Ooh. Now that will be good, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely tune in for that one. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. And clicking the notification bell really does help us here out on the channel. There'll be more reels. There'll be a couple more streams as well for a bit of Gran Turismo and a bit of iRacing in a racing capacity as well. And who knows? Who knows? Things are always very flexible and moving right now. You know, this time 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whenever it was, didn't know I was going to Italy last weekend. So who knows? Keep it subscribed. Keep it locked here on the channel for more. Howard, last thoughts before we tune off for this evening?
Only to say that next time, as I say, GT3s at Spa, there's a certain special event coming up in the iRacing community, Andrew, that might mean some of the drivers get their eye in on that.
Yes.
So it could be a very closely fought round next time out.
And we've seen that before. We've had some fantastic GT3 racing in previous editions round Spa. Right, we're going to wrap up there. As we say, Shenington Super Prix at the weekend. Do tune in for that. And yeah, tune back in here whenever we're live here on the DDMM YouTube channel. That's the first half of the season done for the 2023 CLUB100 BUKC iRacing Championship. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you've missed any of the action, you can watch all of the streams back here on the DDMM YouTube channel for free. But for tonight, from everyone here at Silverstone, thank you very much for tuning in. My name's been Andrew Mather. He's been Howard Mitchell. Together we have been Double Dash Motorsport Media. This has been a production for the CLUB100 BUKC iRacing Championship. We'll see you at Spa in around a month and a half's time. It's going to be a great one, but for now, here at Silverstone, enjoy the rest of your evening, and goodbye.